What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SMOOTHLIES Podcast. Make sure you guys take the time to like, subscribe, as well as share today's episode with a friend. I'm your host, Jamal, and here are my co-hosts.
Jonathan Drafted.
You know, my name is Jacob. Mr. Always got a cup in his hand, looking for them sponsors ASAP.
And we also have a special guest on today's show. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
I'm Jeff Hessler. Make sure y'all go check out my channel on YouTube, Jeff Hess, CFB, all things college football, if you're a college football fan, so y'all go check that out.
All right, so today we're doing something a little bit different. We're talking about today's sports. We're going to first start off with the NBA. We got to talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's letdowns and struggles versus the Celtics. What's up with that, fellas?
We like that. No, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. Every dog has his day, and it's just KD's year, back to back.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I think what I noticed, we talk about like KD and KYRIE being the most skilled players. I think they trying to use too much skill. Because if you notice, almost all the shots they take are like the most difficult shots. Like KYRIE got 3 people on him, and for some odd reason, he's not trying to. The ball is not rotating. Because even if you look at it, by the time KYRIE or Kevin Durant pass the ball, it's like 4 seconds left on the shot clock.
And it looks like everybody's on the left side.
Yeah, you know, everybody's just kind of standing still, and it's like that ball has to really, really move. ISO ball cool here and there. Like when you have a superstar, there's going to be ISO ball. That's either, you know what I'm saying, that's going to happen. But when you got like the way they are like blitzing him, you know what I'm saying, sending everybody at him, and the fact that there's no ball, there's no movement, there's no... Like, one, you got to blame it on the coaching. But, 2, you got to put it on Durant, like, as a leader. Like, you watch what y'all did at Golden State. Y'all moved the ball. That's why y'all won. Y'all moved the ball. Boom, boom, boom. Like, there's nothing about that you was like, you know what, I'm going to come to the Nets, and we're going to make that same thing happen. So, I think right now he got to really look back on what made him great with the Warriors so he can be great here, because that ball needs to move. And they got stars. I mean, they got decent players. Steph Curry is a great player if you let him get going.
I'm going to interject real quick. Only reason I can't say that because he didn't have to be the man on the Warriors team. He didn't have to be the man.
Nah, he didn't have to be the man, but he knew what it looked like. You know what I'm saying?
He joined an established team full of shooters. So if you're a shooter yourself and a scorer, if you're a scorer and you can shoot and you got a team full of shooters, a kick out is easy because they're a threat. So you cannot bum rush him. You got to think even their secondary players on the Warriors team could shoot. You're never going to leave none of them open at all. So now that it's back on his shoulders, just like it was in OKC, it's, you know what I'm saying? Of course they're going to double, triple team you. You're a scorer. You're a known scorer. You're a 7-foot, can move like a skilled guard scoring machine. So it's the fact that, yes, his other players have to step up, but they're not a team full of shooters. They got some.
Man, you got Patty Mills and Steph Curry coming. You can't tell me you're not a team.
But
They're not the Warriors, bro. That's a whole different playing field.
Okay, however, you have to also pay homage to Steve Kerr. Because I try to tell people,
pay homage to the Spurs.
No matter how great Mark Jackson was of a coach, he had a ceiling.
No,
I don't think
he couldn't do any more than what was after that playoff.
I think they did him wrong. Honestly,
I definitely think they did Mark Jackson
wrong because Mark Jackson took the evaluation of all those players that's on that team. He drafted them. Right. He found them. I never knew who Klay Thompson was.
Yeah.
Let's be real. We never heard of Klay Thompson in college. Never. Mark Jackson knew who he was.
I will say, I will say, and I hate to admit this because I'm a huge Mark Jackson fan, but the ball definitely moved a lot more when Steve Kerr became that coach.
Yeah,
right.
And they even tell you Draymond would have never found a role if it wasn't for Steve Kerr's offense.
I can say Steve Kerr. Yes, I can say Steve Kerr has his. Every coach bring their own package with them.
Right.
But not necessarily Steve Kerr. Because Steve Kerr never had a head coaching position.
Steve Kerr learned that from Greg Pop. That's what people don't want to talk about. He learned that from the Spurs.
Mark Jackson's primary thing, it wasn't offense. It was defense. It was playing your position, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So his ceiling was, because that's where you see, when Mark Jackson was the coach of the Spurs, they were still great defensively. they weren't terrible defensively.
Or the Spurs.
You talking about?
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Last time I checked,
Warriors.
Pop is still
They
alive.
were a great defensive team, but they only could go as far as Mark Jackson.
But
Mark
listen,
Johnson could take them.
but listen.
But I'm only saying that because when Steve Kerr becomes the head coach, we saw how there was an
Yeah,
game
but you
plan
got,
that
but
was
you
unstoppable.
have to realize that team that Mark Jackson built up, Steve Kerr just took the keys to the
Right.
Lambo. That was a Lambo.
All he had to do was drive
All
it.
he had to do was drive it, bro. You can't. That's
can't-
like
Some
you
people drive them
building
cars
up-
a little differently.
But
Though.
Right,
listen,
right.
that's true. But that's like you building a car from scratch. You feel me? And then for a company or something, and they be like, "Oh, we don't need you as the driver," but you built the car.
Mark Jackson was driving a Lambo at a 25 mile per hour speed.
But listen, he
Steve
developed.
Kerr
he
got them the
developed
Warriors.
that team.
Steve
I've never
Kerr
seen
got
Steve
them
Kerr
Warriors and put them at 70,
I've never
70
seen
miles per hour.
Steve Kerr develop a team.
But there, if you look at how he game
jumped
plans
in the
coming
game.
in and out of timeouts, tell me
But
what coach consider execute.
Oh, hold
like
on.
that.
But then you also see how Steve Kerr handled that team once injuries start getting involved. They look shitty.
Right.
They look terrible.
Who's Steve Kerr
Who
without,
is Steve-
without
didn't even
Clay
go
and
through his
Steph?
injury.
Steve Kerr's
though.
to keep it real.
Mark
this is
Jackson didn't
Steve-
really go through an injury.
This is Steve. But listen, you got to think Mark Jackson built that team. It don't matter what you say. He built that roster.
Right.
So for the Warriors, this is why it's a player like the players and teams and coaches and teams don't last long. You can say something to a player these days. If they don't like you, you're gone. Like, it's no way the Lakers should be in and out of coaches. You have to develop something. That's like a relationship. You're not going to have a good one if you in and out one, in and out one, in and out one.
Yeah.
You feel me? I can't take you to the finals. I missed the playoffs next year and I'm out. What? That doesn't make any sense. I just took y'all to the chip. I took y'all to the championship. I won one and missed one, and I gotta go. That doesn't make any sense.
Nah.
It doesn't.
Jeff,
I was just-
hold on real quick, Jeff. What do you think? What do you think the biggest thing is when it comes to KD's struggles? Having his own team. Well, I don't know if we want to really say it's his own team because I feel like he shares a court with KYRIE. What would you say like them struggles are that he really faces?
I think it's the difference between KD and LeBron is LeBron will elevate everybody around him.
Correct.
And KD, he's not to that level. He's a great player, but he's not elevating the guys around him. And you see that now with the Celtics.
So more
up
like
3-0 on
ISO.
them
He
right
more
now.
like ISO. Like a
Yeah.
like okay. If it's 10 seconds left, everybody clear out. This is
Right.
where you need shooters though.
He's a great player. Like
This is where you need shooters.
he's arguably one of the greatest scorers to come. Like he's talented,
But see, that's
ridiculously
what
talented.
people only say about KD.
Right.
The greatest
Scorer.
So, but when
When we
he
talk
gets,
go, we only talk two. We only talk
But-
two people.
but
I
when he
won't bring
goes
go
to
there.
like, well, we could say Brooklyn. Brooklyn is his first like.
Well, you could say
Actual team.
OKC too, because in
OKC
OKC he
went to
had
the
Russ
finals.
and James
But he
Harden.
was still able as a scorer.
Right.
But as we've seen in today's game, it take more because the fact that there's no Kobe Bryant in today's league. Rest his soul. There's no Kobe Bryant. So you have LeBron and you have KD. Those are the only two comparable people of like that era before this new age battle that we face. So KD, I'm a scorer, but now I'm also going to a team and you're asking me to lead the team. And that doesn't work because a lot of people will sit here and try to KD and then LeBron. But everybody when Sammy talks about LeBron, he makes everybody around the team better.
Yeah. Oh, and his game is overall. Listen, this is what I tell people: the difference between KD and LeBron. LeBron is he physically was a freak of nature.
Yeah.
I don't think his skill set was there. He developed that over time. I think he's passive first. We all know this. He passed the ball first.
I think
He's
his
more
skill
of a-
set was there.
He was good. He was
He
good.
didn't
from
have the
jump.
shot. He
It's
didn't have the shot.
yeah. But he developed over time more as a skilled player versus he's 260 running 4.2, probably 4.3. Like he's a freak of nature. He's
Right.
big.
4-2.
I'm not
Yeah,
4.2,
4.2 is
but
a little
4.5 maybe.
4.2 is a little fast.
But still, no, when he was 260, they clocked him at like a 4 something. Like a 4.4, like a low 4.5.
If he's running a 4.2,
just
he's in the
saying
wrong
4.2.
league.
But y'all know, come on, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying KD is a skilled player because
Right.
he's physically not, you feel me? Only thing that KD has for him is his height and his length. He's not no banging. He's not. He's gonna get over you. Just like I feel like just with Giannis. Same thing with LeBron. Giannis, we all know he wasn't like that when he first got in the league. He was work. He was work G League type. Like he had to develop. You know what I'm saying? Now look at him. He uses his physical features because he's still not a skilled player. Let's be real. He's not. He's not isolation pulling up.
But see, this is the thing. Even with KD has a bag. Giannis has a bag. LeBron has a bag. But they're not going to sit here and have everybody's skill set. They're only going to have things that work for them.
Right.
For instance, Kevin Durant. When we sit here and say they talk about him as a scorer, a lot of his stuff is shooting the ball back to the basket. When we sit here and look at the Boston Celtics, every time he's going back to the basket, someone's blitzing him and picking off of his offhand. Because
he's not a passer.
Absolutely.
He doesn't think pass first.
And
he's a scorer.
And when he's posting, he doesn't look over left and right.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between him. That's a big difference between him and LeBron's game. LeBron is a passer. He's looking to pass the ball first. He's looking to attack second. KD is looking to attack first, then kick out. He had that luxury with the Warriors to kick out and they can score. That's what he had.
I don't necessarily. This is my thing. I don't necessarily think this is really a KD LeBron conversation because in the sense of they've always had two totally different teams. So I can't necessarily say one would do more with this team versus that team. But I will say this, I'm gonna keep it on KD, but I'll make this point. I think it's a little overrated when we say LeBron makes all his teammates better. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at his young players, they play very uptight with LeBron. It feels like they're playing for LeBron's legacy. Like, I can't do this, I can't do that. If you're a true point guard, you can't play with LeBron. So you can't necessarily tell me that he makes every player better. You got Kevin Love that was getting 30 and 30, and then he gets to the Cavs, and now he's shooting threes, and we like, Kevin Love sucks. Hold on. I'm not saying that he's not making. He makes his team better. They win. His teams always win. But I noticed with young players, why you think the Lakers got rid of all their young players? Because LeBron can't work with young players. So I can't say he makes players better because LeBron couldn't. LeBron can't. I don't even know if LeBron can necessarily work with that Nets team outside of Kyrie because there's a lot of young dudes, and LeBron would have to be trying to get. LeBron would have to be trying to. No, I think he would help with chemistry. I definitely think that'd be a lot better.
Because him and Kyrie got chemistry.
But because if you look at it, Jordan Clarkson, that man is 6th man of the year. Why couldn't he figure that out with with LeBron in there?
But I feel like
hold on, come on, Dre. You got Jordan Clarkson. Who else can I think of? You got
Alonzo.
You got you had Strumpet. Couldn't figure out what he's did
out
decent,
the league.
but I'm saying before he got there, you got a lot of these players, they have to change their game to operate. Why you think LeBron really never really had a big man? Because he needs to paint clear. So Chris Bosh becomes a 3-point shooter. Yeah. When Chris Bosh if Chris Bosh never had went to the Cavs, Chris Bosh should be a Hall of Fame player. I think now we sometimes be like, Chris Bosh was a role player because he got taken out of his element.
But I think Chris Bosh he makes everybody.
I can tell you this about Chris Bosh.
He's gonna get there, but I think
first ballot.
We'll probably be talking about him top 5 power forwards.
Who?
Chris Bosh.
Hold on. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
And I'm talking about others because before he
has a point because his stat line.
Before he left the Raptors,
right.
Chris Bosh was talked about as a top 5 power forward in the league right now.
The game has changed. And Chris Bosh, they wanted him to bang at the Raptors. That's another reason why he left. You feel me? He was in there banging with heavy bodies. Chris Bosh is slender. He's always been a slender guy, and he always had a shot. Let's not get this. He wasn't
standing on the 3-point line.
He wasn't. But you got to think
that's evolving your game, though.
That's evolving your game. And not
is
only
it evolving, or you made me a spot up shooter?
No,
he became a spot up shooter.
You got to think, Jacob. He is a slender center.
Yeah.
He is banging with Boogie when he was 200 something.
I understand what Jake's saying.
He could have turned to a Dirk type player. Dirk wasn't necessarily just standing at the 3-point line. He was he'll bring people out. Like I said, Bosh got literally put into a corner and said, "Hey, because this is your new role."
But I
wouldn't say his game evolved because, to me, somebody like Bosh is somebody that you can give it to in the paint, give it to him. You know what I'm saying? And that mid range area.
Bosh also had a major injury with the Raptors.
Right,
He's changed his game because he cannot bang with 200-pound players. He's little. That's
Yeah,
what you're not getting.
he's undersized for a big
player,
man.
Any player, even Boogie don't even bang in the paint like he used to after his Achilles. He's shooting threes.
I can give you. I can
He
give you a
been
list.
shooting. If you look at AD's game, even AD's game,
AD.
he has transitioned to the outside.
No, that's
These
a
big
problem.
Guys,
that's why he sucks.
No, he
That
is
is-
one of
see,
the
I would
best.
agree. I would agree. I would agree with that
he's
one.
one of the best big man shooters though.
He is, but he's a lot better when he takes it to the
Okay,
hole.
what about Cat though? Cat is a shooter. You can't say Cat is not a shooter.
But he's a finesse player. If you put him in the
Yeah.
paint,
Cat
he'd
is
go
slow as
crazy.
dirt.
He'd go
Cat is
crazy.
slow. He's not isolated.
But he's
I
not
would-
AD. AD is talented from the mid range. He's talented in the
Because he's
paint.
more athletic, and then you got to think of these players of the positions they played growing up. AD was
AD
point
a
guard, like
yeah.
Yeah, but then
You
he
gotta
gets to
think
college and sprouted
He-
up to what he is now.
yeah, but he didn't look comfortable in the paint when he was in college. You can't tell me he
my
didn't.
thing
He was a
is,
lot thinner, though. He's a lot thinner.
Okay,
Paper
AD,
thin, right?
AD,
Yeah. And like the game, like,
he
but
had the
listen.
3-point line and he's still getting injured. You're not even in the
But
paint
listen,
no more.
been playing.
You can't stay healthy.
but that's more reason why the big men today are outside. They're not banging inside like they used to. The Shaq? Listen, these Shaq type players are extinct. It's players
I
that's
wouldn't. No.
hefty.
Drive. I wouldn't say. I think what happens is that
Give me a
player-
Tim Duncan type player.
players are now getting drafted.
Fundamentals is
and
not taught no more like that.
Players are now getting drafted and put at certain positions due to their height.
Exactly.
So if you are tall, you can be slender. But my expectation from an organization standpoint is that you have to learn how to develop a jump shot.
exactly.
So if you don't have, of course we're not going to get a Shaq. We're not going to get a Boogie Cousins in today's league. If you look at the top college basketball teams, a lot of their big men are slender.
Chad Holmgren.
Yeah,
One of
but you have to have an inside out game. You
And
know
I
what I'm saying?
blame-
Like,
but
That is
and
true.
I want my big man like Joel. The problem people have with Joel shooting is not necessarily because
He can shoot, though.
because he can shoot, but it's like
He's
at
a big dude.
times you're coming down court settling when you literally
He turns
got
himself into a
listen,
spotter.
when you literally got
But-
somebody that's 6'5" on you, why
that
not take
goes-
the easy point? Especially like you said, if there's no true big man,
Yeah.
why not get the
But
easy
that
points
goes
if you
to
can get it?
that goes to early development, AAU and stuff. If you look
It's a
and
lot
go
of
to these
AAU basketball,
but listen,
unfortunately.
if you go to these games and watch these kids play, banging on the inside is not it.
a
Everybody
finesse
wants
game.
to show their skill, and like Dirk is a pioneer of the big man shooting. You see what problems a big man that can give you shooting versus one that just is a big blob in the paint. And if you pay a team like the Warriors, like Denver, clear as day to have an MVP center back to back. You feel me? You see the struggles he's having because they play in small ball. You feel me? Today's game is small ball. Like, let's be real. That's what us as Boston. That's what we're playing against KD and those guys.
So
they
last
can have
week-
all the height.
Last week they were talking about how Kyrie Irving is arguably today's best offensive player in the NBA.
No.
How do we feel about that?
I
Joe?
think he has the if you had a book bag of NBA skills,
He got him.
Kyrie got everything in his book
do.
bag.
No,
He do.
I don't
I
think
can't.
they-
Yeah, I
The
can't
shot-
say he's the best overall player because there's more to prove. But if you say somebody that can do everything, yes, I can say because I mean, as a point guard, he's not the.
He the
I mean,
truth.
he can kind of post up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get his move, and he knows how to get a shot.
Very
My
shifty.
problem with Kyrie, I think he's too shifty to the point that he thinks that he can always take these crazy shots. Because okay, cool. Last game you was 5 for 5. This game you struggling. Like dog, like. Switch up your game, pass a little bit more. I will say that's one thing Kyrie doesn't have in his bag.
He's a scorer though, just like
Kyrie's
when
pass
score
game,
first. He's a
just
score
like
first
when
guy.
Bron
his
got to the
IQ
Cavs with
his
him.
IQ is not the greatest.
What you think,
Bron
Joe?
was point guard, right? Correct? Yeah.
On and off. I would say on and off. I think they
switch
switch.
it.
But listen, because LeBron caters to Kyrie's game, so it fit perfectly. Kyrie is a scoring
and
point
that's why
guard.
him and KD ain't working
Kyrie
out.
is not. They're both scorers. Somebody has to be passive on the team.
Kyrie was the first person I seen
what do
LeBron
you-
tailor his game to the other player.
But
because
Jeff, what do you-
LeBron's a
what do you-
passer first.
Hold on, Jeff. Let Jeff get in with that.
If I was talking best scorer, like one-on-one basketball, I probably would take KD. So like, but Kyrie's unguardable. I don't think there's a guy in the NBA that can really stop Kyrie
And
one-on-one.
he's proven though.
The shot against the Warriors he hit with the Cavs.
Clutch.
That not a lot of people in the league right now are gonna take that shot and make that shot. So it's like
especially in that time period. The last
Right.
2 minutes of a game, that's
and
different.
especially having LeBron on the team, they would be
Right.
wild.
They would give it to LeBron.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is
LeBron
why.
hated that
LeBron
LeBron
this
to give
is-
it back.
But listen,
LeBron,
look,
I
though.
said, here, motherfucker, take it.
LeBron has really been a point guard all his life. So when people get
I hate
on
when
him,
people say that because
he
like
has.
if you was a Cavs
Even his
fan,
rookie
if
year,
you
he
was
ran
if you was
point.
a Cavs
Even
fan,
his
He's a
LeBron
ball
was
his
leading the
rookie
league
year.
in scoring.
Draft, when he played at St. V, they had a point guard. They actually had 2 point guards.
Yes,
What
but
happened?
who's
hold on,
ball
no,
handling?
right. But just because you're a ball handler, Bron is a ball handler because he can score at will, going towards the paint.
Just like Ben Simmons,
I think he's a point forward.
He's a point
Yeah,
forward.
I mean,
point forward.
I get that you can call him a point forward because
just
he's
don't-
facilitating. I get that aspect.
Great facilitator.
But he's a great
Yeah, yeah.
to a certain extent. Because for me being a Laker fan, at the end of the day, you picking up the ball, you're dribbling at the ball, you're inbounding the ball. You can't sit here and say that he makes the greatest decisions because he's a very high turnover rate.
But
usage
listen,
player.
I say this, and this is the problem with people that grade LeBron. They grade him with a different scale. Let's be real. Let's be real about the
No,
situation.
he gets unfair criticism.
Yes,
He's always
unfair.
compared to
Because-
MJ.
But listen, even MJ, and this is where I say players around you, even Tracy McGrady, who played in the NBA, even said Scottie Pippen was like that.
Yeah.
You didn't see it as much because they had Jordan. He didn't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? But in that interview when he was telling about who he think is skilled, just like MJ and Pippen, he said KYRIE, because they are. Honestly, I agree with that statement. I think skill-wise, natural skill, that those guys have it. Like I said, LeBron is a player that developed it over time. You feel me? Like, as far as his game, but he's a passer first.
But he
even
went
on
first
the Cavs,
8 years playing the same way.
but it don't matter. He's proven.
he's
proven.
and I get that, but what are we talking about?
You cater to you.
What are we
listen.
talking about development for?
Okay, but I'm telling you this. Look, like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen put his game on the back burner to cater to Jordan because Jordan was. We know he's gonna score.
Was
And
Scottie
he's
Pippen
efficient,
like that?
And he's efficient. And if we want to look at the grading scale, LeBron James is the second most efficient player in NBA history.
This my only thing. LeBron is definitely a passer. But what I don't like is when we say, "Oh, he's not even a score first player." I've literally watched, like I said, because I was a big Cavs fan. I watched him literally 30 points a game, 40 points a game, 50 points.
He averaged 30
last year.
But what I'm saying is, like, I feel like people pick and choose. Like, okay, cool. If he don't take the game winning shot, oh, that's because he's a passer first. But if he do take it, oh yeah,
I'm
he's a
passing
scorer.
I'm passing
Like,
to
you know
Ray
what I'm
Allen
saying?
in the
Like, people
corner.
constantly,
But
people
Bron-
constantly flip.
Would
I'm
you
passing to Ray
would
Ray
you
in the
rather have
corner.
Kyrie or LeBron take that shot against
Kyrie.
Golden State?
No,
Exactly. That's
no,
smart.
I'm
That's
not-
smart.
I'm not. What I'm saying
KD's
is,
taking that shot in Brooklyn.
I'm not saying he's wrong for passing the ball, but what I'm saying is we constantly change what he is. He's a scorer and a passer. Like we can't say, oh,
Secondary
he's
passer. No, secondary scorer.
I can't say
pass first.
He's
And
always
the only reason
he's always led his teams in scoring.
'Cause look
How
who
is
he
he
played
not?
with,
How is he
Jacob.
not?
But this
How
is-
is he not a scorer?
Look at who he played with.
Let me say this.
Nobody ever scored. No, let me say this. Nobody on that Cavs team averaged over 14 points. What are y'all not getting? Even
Yeah.
KD had in OKC had Russ scoring 20.
Even in Miami,
listen.
LeBron was still a scorer.
Jacob, because he had to. Jacob, it's a difference when you don't have to. KD didn't have to be the main guy at the Warriors because it was
Why
scores.
don't we want to give him a score? What's wrong with saying LeBron is a scorer? I don't
think-
understand what's wrong with saying that.
It's nothing wrong with
So,
it, but he
like-
had to do it by himself. It's a
LeBron's
difference.
definitely a scorer, but like he's just all around in so many different
'Cause
places.
he
Like when
has
you
to,
think
right?
of KD, like we were saying, we think of him as a scorer. We don't really think of LeBron as a scorer because he's so all around.
LeBron got to
good.
be the rebound guy. Listen, let's think about the stat lineups that LeBron carries.
doesn't have to be
He's
the rebound
literally
guy.
top 20 in almost every major category because he has to do it all. Like I said, in OKC, what we counted on KD to just score the ball, right? We know he gonna score. They had Cephalosha just for defense. They had James Harden just for the bench.
Nick Collison was the rebound guy.
I know, but rebounds.
Serge
Everybody
Ibaka,
had
too.
a job though. On that Cavaliers team, like I said, LeBron been there 9 years, right? He only had one season where somebody scored over 15 points. Mo Williams. One time. 17.
But with that being said,
His workload.
Miami. But see, also understand this, because we talk about scoring pass first, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't watch LeBron play, let's just talk about for the Cavs. Let's talk about Miami Heat. Mm-hmm. So Miami Heat and before.
Okay.
If you look on ESPN or TNT after a game break and you see what his stat line is, you're like, damn, he balled. But then you got to sit here and see what's up for the fourth quarter, because in reality, Bron may already have 26 points by the start of fourth quarter, right? Yeah. So if he takes an L, you see how efficient he was 1 through 3. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the fourth quarter, you're like, whoa, damn, he can score well, he can do blah blah. But where is he? Where is he at when it comes to
look at his work.
decisions?
Look at his. But listen, look at his
that's
workload.
That's what happens. LeBron fans, because like you say, you start looking at fourth quarter scoring.
Yes.
Look at his workload.
That's when LeBron is no longer a scorer.
Well, what about
the narrative is not, oh, LeBron's a pass first. That's why he didn't score in the fourth quarter. But the whole 1 through 3, he was everything hood.
But look at his workload. In Miami, he didn't have to do it all by himself.
But he did the same thing in Miami to Cleveland. He was the leading stat person in every category.
But listen, he had
even in, that's what I'm saying.
But listen,
but the rebounding don't count because the rebounding counts. But the reason why he's the leading scorer in the rebounding is because the paint is constantly cleared out for LeBron. Same thing kind of with Russell. Like when
on the offensive side, defensive side, he's still getting boards.
You think Bosh was you think LeBron James was a better rebounder than Chris Bosh or Chris Anderson?
No. Yeah, I am. Not Chris Anderson, but that was Chris Anderson's job title.
But he averaged more.
That was his job title, bro. That was his job title.
James averaged more rebounds. That's all I'm saying.
He got more tick than him, of course.
What do you mean? He was a starter. He was a starter.
Yeah, but Bron's not coming off the court compared to him.
Bron's workload to the players y'all compare is not the same, bro.
I'm simply talking about rebounds. That's all I'm talking about. Rebounds.
And Chris Anderson's job is, you're not asking Chris Anderson to score neither. You're not asking him for.
Only talking about rebounds.
You're not asking him exactly. If all I have to do is focus on rebounds, that's my job.
So, shouldn't you have more rebounds than the person that is the?
They're not playing the same amount of minutes.
Right. He's not. Chris Anderson ain't asked to play 40 minutes a game.
He's not exactly.
True.
His workload is different than other players.
Chris Bosh?
No, LeBron James. And if you look at
I'm talking about. Should he still have more rebounds than Chris Bosh?
No. Yes. Look at Chris Bosh's workload.
Chris Bosh's workload was about the same minute play. What are you talking about?
No, hell no. Look it up. You got that tablet. Look it up.
Keep talking.
I guarantee you, LeBron averaged at least 10 more minutes than Chris Bosh. Guaranteed.
I think that's.
No, it's not. What? Guaranteed.
The only point that I was trying to make is because I'm not trying to take away from LeBron. I think LeBron is one of the most unfairly criticized player. But the problem is when the conversation happens, it's the extremists. It's nobody that has an in the middle conversation.
35 minutes.
You either got
what year? Just 1 year or his whole season? Because Chris Bosh.
It was 33 through 35 minutes.
And how many games did Chris Bosh play? Because I guarantee he didn't play the whole season like LeBron. Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
3. Okay.
Exactly.
So 3 out of the 5 years, because he was there for 5 years. Those 3, he was averaging almost like 50 games. He got 30
games off. What do you mean? The workload is not the same, and I think that's where I say LeBron doesn't.
Bro, he only averaged 6 to 7 rebounds.
But it doesn't matter, Jamal. He played 30 less games. Yeah, wipe your head. 30 less games is a huge difference.
Okay, so
30. Hold on. So you
that's
think
that's a big difference.
Big
That's
difference.
30 games. 30 games.
I say big man.
Yes.
30 games.
But you're only going to be you're not accumulated. I mean, you're not knocked for the games that you miss. It doesn't decrease your stat line.
Bro,
it's only about the games you play.
Okay, it don't matter. If LeBron don't have to play 30 games and came back in the playoffs, niggas wouldn't see him.
Jacob, what you?
Nah, I'm done, man.
30 games?
I'm done. Like this is why I don't like the conversation about LeBron, because it's always an extreme conversation. It's either he can't do nothing wrong, or he do everything wrong.
I think-
Like
I'm not saying he
nobody has a
I'm saying his workload.
My only point was, and I'm not. What I'm saying is he's great. I just don't understand when we flip the narrative that he's not a scorer, he's a passer, and that narrative typically only gets created when people say, "Well, damn, LeBron, in the fourth quarter you didn't do this, you didn't do that." Then now it's he's a pass first, so that's why he didn't score. Which I get the workload. That's cool if you say the workload. I understand that, but when people add criticism, we say like if it's like, "Oh, well, LeBron, you didn't step up in the last 5 minutes." Well, that's because he's not a scorer.
That comes with being LeBron James, though.
He's a passer.
He gets an
And
unfair
you like, damn, so okay.
Grading scale, am
but
I
he
right?
is a scorer because you can't average 30-something points a game, and now we're saying you're not a scorer because you decided not to take a shot in the last 4 minutes. That's why I say the critics, like, if you're going to have a conversation about LeBron, let's have it. You can say LeBron's great, but also say where he's flawed at. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like LeBron fans won't let you say one thing bad. You see, Draft ain't let me get no. Like you see,
All right,
Draft
now,
the whole
let me
time
put
was
this-
like,
let me put this in layman terms.
Look,
But listen, let me put this in-
I didn't say
Let me
LeBron was
put this-
whack.
okay,
I didn't
but
say he
not
sucked.
even
I just said LeBron is a scorer. We at times have to hold him accountable as a scorer.
Okay,
And so when you don't step up as a scorer, you take responsibility.
You don't always got to score the ball to be effective, though.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
he's making
That's
this, like
why
I said.
say
I
efficiency.
never once said that he's wrong for passing the ball. I just said if LeBron in the fourth quarter chooses not to score at all, his fans will say, "Oh, that's because he's a passer."
No,
But
no.
no. But that's what happened.
Okay.
I'm not
What
telling
game
him-
is LeBron not scoring in the fourth quarter, though, to be real? This is not going to happen.
It's not. And he definitely ain't going to have 4 games like KD playing like Dookie.
Right, KD's
Plain
shooting
and simple.
30% with 8 turnovers.
you
16
can argue his meltdown versus Dallas was up there.
Yeah, but
I don't know because I saw something earlier where it said KD,
KD is playing shitty.
Right, but look at it. Listen to this stat, right?
I'm listening.
They've played 3 games, right?
Yeah, man. And he ain't
games.
scored in the fourth quarter.
Listen to this. He's only made 19 field goals, and I think it's like 18 turnovers.
that's terrible.
Nah, it was like 19
you're right. Yo, it was 19
it
and
was
17.
something crazy, like
19 turnovers. No, I'm sorry. He had 19 turnovers, 17 field goals, or vice versa. One of the two.
something like that.
But,
I get what you're saying.
I know what you're talking about.
It's ridiculous,
That's
though.
It's because Jason Tatum's giving him the business.
Exactly.
All right, but let's move. Hold on. Let's move. No, I don't want to talk no more about
We're not
Bron.
talking that. We're not talking about Bron. I'm just talking this. I'm gonna put it
Can
in
we
simple
criticize
terms.
KD without bringing LeBron in? That's all I want.
We're not talking about
Let's
LeBron.
leave it all on
Okay.
KD. Let's criticize KD and
We are-
KD
we are-
only.
we about to-
LeBron
we
has
about
nothing
to
to do with this
criticize.
Well,
conversation.
everybody compares KD to LeBron
Exactly.
on
So
skill.
he's going to get brought up. This is my thing, though. We've all worked over 45, 50 hours in this building, right? We've all put in time. And we've all probably at some point in time had a job and worked for somebody. And then they got the nerve to
still
tell
work for
you,
somebody.
no, listen, they got the nerve to tell you, and I know you experienced this, Jacob. They got the nerve to tell you what you didn't do. And you worked more than them. You did 60 hours this week, and they got the nerve to come in the next day and ask you, well, why didn't you put this up? And you look at them crazy as hell, don't you, Jacob?
And so
No, it's no, yes or no?
Hear that out. What you're saying is yes, every day, criticize. I'm not saying LeBron needs to be criticized every game, but there also is a year.
I'm not talking about LeBron, Jacob. I'm talking about you. You work 60, 50 hours, and somebody will come in and criticize you, and you're going to look at them retarded.
You not hear me?
I'm going to let you talk.
I also get a review. And my review is not going to say, Jacob, you are perfect 365 days of the year. It's going to criticize me, and I have to be able to take that criticism and not be like, oh, well, what about all the times I work 60 hours? I can't say that. I have to take criticism.
Say that.
But when
That's your worth. You're crazy if you don't.
But if there is nobody works perfect. I didn't got my hair, and there's no disrespect, but I didn't got my hair cut over 100 times by Jamal. I'm not going to say all 100 was 10 out of 10. But I'm not also going to say, okay, if I
So
tell
you're not going to
hear me out.
critique him.
Okay, no, but
So you're not going to speak.
Hear what I just said.
But you're going to
But
speak on
Hold on. Let me.
because now he's going to get
He's
his
talking
point.
about me. No, wait.
No, he just offset his point because he said, I will critique you that one time. You may not be perfect. I'm not going to be I'm not going to hold it against you. But if you mess up my haircut,
You must speak.
If
You must speak, and that's what we're talking about with LeBron. If he has a bad game, we must speak. You act like we can't say one bad thing.
that comes with being good, though. Like when you're good at something, that's what. When you want to be good or you are good at something, that critique
so
comes.
mad when you say one bad thing about
We're
LeBron.
not mad, but you have to be. No, I'm saying
Man,
this.
He's still
Like you said, like no, because you're talking about critiquing his work.
He said no. I'm about to say
you can. You listen. You can critique his work all you want, but it's not the fact that man still does a excellent job every time. Even if it's something slightly off, it still looks good.
All right, moving off of Brown. Let's talk about.
My bad, Jamal. I didn't mean to talk about your haircuts, man. They're perfect. 10 out of 10, 100% of the time. Okay,
He said, nah.
yeah, man.
Because we had a conversation this
Jacob in the back of his head like, shit, I do a damn good job. The fuck you talking about?
Motherfucker, how you feel like you're a LeBron hater for saying one bad thing? Like,
I get where you're coming from.
I love LeBron. That's the crazy part. I love LeBron.
Hold on.
But if you say one thing,
I get where Jacob's coming from.
Anti-LeBron.
We're not grading everybody with the same scales. The problem.
I get that too.
That just comes with being great. You get criticized with the best when you are the best at what you do.
I'll say this. Okay,
So
hold on. No. Let's talk about. You said grading people on the same scale. If this makes you feel better, I say this: KD can never be mentioned as the best player ever again. And I agree. And I stamp that because no, you said we don't criticize all players the same.
They don't.
But I'm telling you right now to be even. We gonna move on after this. I will say the way KD has folded has showed that he is not ready to be a leader and he's not ready to be that guy. As I said, so in order for KD to even erase this out of our mind, he might have to come with 2 more chips
by himself.
By himself, he might have to come with at least say, I'm sorry, he owes us a chip next year. Let's throw this season away because people gonna say, well, Kyrie sat out half the year. People gonna talk about Ben Simmons. You know what? I'm not giving KD a pass, but let's throw this season away. If KD don't give us a ring next year, KD will forever be criticized.
All right, moving on. Thank you very much. Okay, so, and this is gonna allow you all to talk even more.
No, I'm done. I'm sorry.
We have to talk about the playoff picture. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you all the standings.
Go green.
You all pick a series that you all been watching, and then talking about the woes and talking about the good and the bad and stuff like that. So right now, we got Phoenix leading the New Orleans Pelicans 2-1. Dallas and Utah series is at even 2-2. Golden State Warriors versus the Denver Nuggets is at 3-1. It looks like they did end up winning today. Memphis and Minnesota is tied at 2-2. Miami versus Atlanta is 2-1. Miami is leading that. Philly and Toronto. Philly's up 3-1. Milwaukee and Chicago. 3-1 Milwaukee. And you all sat here and had a long ass topic with. Boston Celtics and the Nets. Boston leads 3-0. So I'm gonna let Jeff start. Pick out a series that he's been watching.
I mean, I'm a Hawks fan, so I've been watching the Heat and the Hawks. I will say the Heat's been defending Trae Young great. When you force everybody else on the team to win the game, you kind of see what happens. But Trae Young's one of those players I think that could go from 10 points to 28 like that. So it's like you saw that 2 nights ago when he came back and won the game pretty much for the Hawks. You can only defend a great player for so long. I think ultimately the Heat's going to win the series because, like I said, they're forcing everybody else to win the game.
Are the Hawks, are they missing Capella?
Yeah, Capella's a maybe for tonight, actually. I seen that earlier. And then John Collins, I think he played.
He played last game. Yeah, I seen number 20 out there.
Lowry's out with the hamstring.
Yeah, he that's big for the Heat, too. That's big for the Heat.
Absolutely.
But Jimmy Butler's a great player. The Heat's got a great team. Eric Spoelstra's a great coach, so it's like.
Do you think?
I don't think he get enough credit.
Do you
Jimmy.
think that Jimmy
nice.
Butler, with Lowry's injury, can lead the Miami Heat to the next round, or do you think it's kind of like your team, the Hawks, will sit here and come up from under the rug?
See, I think tonight's game's got a lot on that. I think if the Hawks can get some more momentum and win this one,
What do you think? What,
I'm about to say
he nervous as hell.
See, like, no,
that's a
it's
stretch.
Jimmy's got more than just Kyle Lowry.
Just a little
Like
bit.
they made a deep run without Kyle Lowry. They still got Hero. Like they still got pieces around. They got Duncan Robinson.
That
He's a
team
great
went
shooter.
to the championship
Right,
too.
they did it
know,
without
they
Kyle.
know.
So if you all go home, which we all think that y'all going home, packing your bags, going wherever y'all going, what do you think that
Jamal
you all
funny
need?
as hell. And we know y'all packing the
Another,
nuggets.
What do you think? Like off season, what are off season moves that the Atlanta Hawks?
the Hawks need another scorer, whether that's a 3 or whatever. But
DeAndre Hunter is not a scorer to you.
DeAndre Hunter, he's all right, but he's not an elite scorer. You need another elite scorer.
Consistent. He
Is
consistent.
Lou Williams still for you?
I was wondering that too.
he's
I don't think. I don't think
he's-
he's.
He's 6 man.
So he still plays for the Hawks.
Yeah.
I
But
don't.
he
I
not
don't.
ju- that ain't old Lou Will though.
I
He's
don't
a
know if
little
another.
old now. He's a little old, so
I don't know if another elite scorer will work because Trae Young, like, in order for him to get gone, he has to be high usage.
yeah.
Like, you know, because if you give him 10 shots a game, it might not look good. But if you give him a chance to get 30, you know what I'm saying? He going like 30
might
shots a
strike
game.
something.
At
he
the
gonna-
same
you know what I'm
time,
saying?
though-
So I don't know if another elite
y'all
shooter
know
will
that-
really help.
That's the difference between back in the day point guards versus these ones now. These ones now, they gotta shoot the ball.
At the same time,
50
the
times.
reason I say an elite scorer because you got the team like the Heat. Trae Young will get the ball and 2-3 dudes run to him like that.
But that's
gotta have-
Miami. But that's Miami's. That's how they.
Yeah,
but
that's
a lot
their
of teams
game.
are gonna start. They see the recipe.
No,
they
for
see
sure.
how to stop the Hawks. That's what they're
But
gonna do.
I don't think outside of the Celtics, Miami Heat, and probably the Golden State Warriors, I don't think there's another defense in the NBA that's in the playoffs right now that can play that type of defense.
But
That's fair. That's fair.
I
The
said
Bucks playing
you're
some
right.
good D,
They
though.
do need another elite scorer. What I'm saying is I don't know if it'll work because how high Trae Young's usage is.
I get
I
that.
do think that I mean, of course they need it, but the problem is I don't know what it is. You would think Atlanta would be a high market team.
Yeah.
Because it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
They don't ever get any top free agents.
They
like,
don't.
why
Remember-
not? Like,
remember-
that's Atlanta.
I think,
Like,
yeah,
you would think people like,
but
let's
I don't
go.
think they preach
Right.
championship there.
That's true.
I
'Cause
think
they
it's
don't-
more
they
of a
don't- they don't really have
lifestyle.
They don't really have. I mean, what teams?
I'm thinking
The
about
Braves.
Atlanta
The
too.
Braves
like,
just won,
They
but
just
I mean,
won a
how,
World Series.
But that's fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you
Yeah.
got Georgia, but that's not Atlanta. But you know, you can argue. You can.
They got Lil Baby.
Let's just put that together. They got Lil Baby.
Quavo. Yeah.
Don't be surprised if James Harden ends his career in Atlanta.
Oh,
I can see.
would not
I
be
don't
mad
know
at
why.
that.
I can see James Harden ending up in Atlanta.
Listen,
Harden 4
I can
PF. Like,
say-
If James Harden folds again, what James Harden he needs to go to a team with less pressure. Go to Atlanta.
I don't-
You know what I'm saying? Less pressure. People ain't asking for championships.
I could say this about James Harden. James Harden has been a consistent scorer. He really don't fall off. If you look at his overall game, everybody critiqued his defense. He plays pretty good defense
stepped up
to the numbers, bro. And then when they asked him to be like a point type shooting guard, he was balling.
scorer, yeah.
His
No, but here,
numbers is
hey, James Harden be finessing us. Like, and I didn't know that they said it. He'd get on a team and he'll lead the league in assists for like the first 20 games, and then go right back to ISO ball. Like, nope, sorry,
But you need,
thought.
but sometimes I only reason I think that game could work in the playoffs is because he has a big now.
yeah.
With Atlanta, with this Atlanta series, who do you all think? Because I want to ask this, and then I'm gonna let you all talk about another series. But who do you think within this series has been probably the most surprising?
Most surprising.
I don't know because I ain't
the
been
lack of Collins?
I ain't been watching him.
Nah,
Though.
I'm
Collins
honestly
is
gonna
good,
say the
though.
lack of Trae Young. That's been really surprising. He has not played good at all.
I think, but he's had like 1 or 2 good games, right?
Last game was
Yeah,
he
last
scored
game.
24.
And they were the one they losing by like 15 at one point.
Yeah, they came back.
Yeah, okay,
They-
that's what I thought.
They
think
just
it's-
dropped 24.
I
You
think-
expect
I
more
think-
out of him.
I turned the game off thinking it was over, and then
But
out of
listen,
nowhere.
I think people don't realize how big matchups are when it comes to playoffs.
That's everything.
sure.
Matchups is everything.
The matchups are everything. Oh,
That's any sport though.
Yeah,
That's
but
any
listen,
I wish
sport.
the
people
Cavs
be
had
like,
won.
people be like, oh
Hell
my
no.
God, they balled all regular season. Come playoff time, I done watched you all season. Now you got, I done made 2-3 trades. You ain't seen this team as much. And now it's a whole different team. Like, dad, we dominated them all year.
Trae Young reminds me of an AAU player. He plays the game very
definitely.
He doesn't play he doesn't play like, oh, I came here for a system. I came here. I just met,
to score all the
met up with
points.
my team.
Hey, he leads the league in assists.
Do he?
Yeah, he's got the most assists in the NBA.
Yeah, I think they didn't. He
I don't believe that, but if you say it, I'm not telling you that you wrong.
Didn't he lead in like overall points too? Wasn't he?
Overall, he's got the most points scored in the
Let me
NBA
ask you a
too.
question: were they legit assists or were they 2K assists? And this is what I call 2K assists. You remember? You ever played 2K My Player?
Yeah, I don't think it's no
You
more.
intentionally pass.
Yeah, you intentionally pass when they wide open, so you get your
Russell
assist.
Westbrook. That's Russell Westbrook.
Right now, Trae Young is averaging 9.7 assists.
No.
So his
That's
stats.
amazing. I gotta give him
But he's
that.
got the most. He's
But
not
I'm
leading
wrong,
in
I'm
per
wrong.
game. He's got the most
I think
assists.
people-
of the year.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
assists.
I think
Okay,
he's
I
like
do-
third. I think he's
I-
like third in the NBA per
I get what
game
you're saying,
too.
I get
Though.
what you're saying.
Yeah, but I say this too: the way how the point guard has transitioned to ball dominance and scoring is when you have a scoring point guard, it opens up so much passing lanes because now
That's
you
true.
have the fear of them shooting that three. Him, like I could
Capella.
say Trey. Yeah, I could say Trey. I could say Trey. I could say Steph. Who else is
Dame.
a good Dame? When you have somebody that can pop that three ball from half court, you have to play up tight.
And that's why
Then they
getting
s-
Capella back would be huge for the Hawks.
Yeah,
I'm about to
That
say,
pick and roll,
the whole and then they can slash too.
that
That's
can
the thing
help out
about
DeAndre
them.
Hunter.
They
That
get
can
to
help
the-
out Bogdanovich,
Hey.
Huter. Like that opens up your other shooters too.
Houston Capella was not appreciated enough. I just want people.
Nah,
to
he
know.
wasn't.
He was supposed
wasn't.
to get that big bag.
You remember that game where they lost to the Warriors and they missed like 23s and they only lost by like 2 points? You
His
know, all
rebounds.
they had to do is literally just pass it in to Capella a few times.
His offensive game is a liability,
Let him
though.
let him get some easy points.
He's an old school center.
but let him
But
get some easy
they
points.
wanted more from him as far as the
Man.
offensive side.
So
I
from
think
that,
that's what it is.
So from the Miami and Atlanta series right now, Miami is averaging 113.
Miami got that in the bag, man. Next.
Right now, Miami is averaging 113 points to
Ooh.
Atlanta.
It's getting
Yeah.
chilly in
Yeah, I
Atlanta.
was
That's
gonna
all.
say,
It's getting chilly in Atlanta. We'll see tonight.
They're
Miami.
averaging almost 40 rebounds a game to
Jimmy
Atlanta's
Butler is the
38.
factor, though.
But
I
at
can
the
tell
same
you that.
time, the rebounds and they don't got Clint Capella.
The
Yeah.
assist is 28 to 20.
Jimmy Butler is the leader though. He's the alpha on that court compared to everybody else.
Trae Young might be the first mixed kid I ever see lose his hairline that quick, bro.
It doesn't-
For him
come
to
on
be
now,
for
come
him to
on.
be mixed,
Come
bro.
over.
Bro.
Nah, you need to get rid of that unibrow.
Bro,
I ain't-
bro, his hair bad, dog. I ain't
Come
never seen.
over.
Why can't we say this about LeBron or KD? Come on,
Nah,
like,
but no, because Trey too
Hey.
young. Like Trey
Oh
shit look
God,
bad.
Bron been stressed.
Trey looked like he rolled around on the carpet a little bit and just walked out the house. Like his stuff just be like
yeah.
Trey look young and old at the same damn time. Dog.
He looked like that dude with the glasses with
Like
the
he
comb
just
over
played like he
with
played
the button
100.
up.
Yep.
He looked like he played 100 AAU games overnight. Like just
His
like,
palms
bro,
sweaty.
Like bro, why you look so rough, bro?
But he looked like one of them gym rat kids though, like just be in
He's
the
a
gym
hooper.
all the
That's a-
time.
What's the series? Have you been watching the playoffs?
Yeah, I've been watching. Not that series though.
What's the series you've been watching?
Come on, you know, go green. You
Okay.
know what I've been watching,
Okay.
man.
So let me
I
ask
love
you.
Jason Tatum.
Let me ask you this
Hold
about. Hold on.
We staying out west? We going out west?
We staying on your Celtics.
Okay, we
Yeah,
gonna stay
so
on them. What about them?
One, who's a surprise player that's performing this year in the playoffs for you, as well as who is a surprise player that's not performing?
The surprise player for me that is performing and is consistent is Marcus Smart. It's consistent this time. We all know he could be, but his offensive game has definitely stepped up a notch and
got
it's
good
helping.
defense.
It's making a difference. Because we all know, people don't even know, Marcus Smart in college was a scorer. He was that
Yeah,
guy.
he definitely was.
But
Didn't he punch a fan in college?
yeah,
I'm
but
sorry to
look,
get off
and
topic.
then
That's crazy.
this
You
is
gonna
where
hold
I
that pen. That's
critique.
crazy.
This is where I critique players like him because everybody know he used to score like 20-something points a game in college. Big score. But in the NBA, it didn't transition like how I thought it was going to. I'm like, damn, this dude can't. He got 9 points a game, 8 points a game.
Because he a guard and they expect him to be a shooter. He's not really a shooter.
Because
slasher.
But
that's why they got Jason Tatum.
But that's why I thought his game in college was going to be like similar to like, I'm like, all right, he gonna give us at least 15 points. Nah, he didn't do that. But his consistency this year has very much surprised me on the offensive side. Defense, we all know he can play defense.
If you want to be honest, he the reason the Celtics woke up. I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the year.
He wasn't playing
because
well.
he wasn't playing good.
In the beginning of the year.
No, I'm saying he
They was mad
top.
at Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown.
In the
Marcus
beginning
Smart
of the year,
wasn't tolerating that shit.
Marcus
Y'all
Smart
follow
made
me
a comment and he said, we need to start passing the ball
Yeah.
more. Our young guys, Jason Tatum, Jalen
called
Brown,
him
need
out.
to stop playing one-on-one basketball.
And that's what the
I
Nets is
remember-
doing.
And I thought the Celtics team was over. Like, because like they started out
wrote us
so
off.
bad.
I remember.
Marcus Smart made that comment, and they immediately, like, next thing you know, I look up like 2-3 months later, they number 2 in the East. I'm
And
like,
a lot-
I think that's the
lot
first
of
time that's
players-
happened in
a
like
lot of
NBA
players can't
history. I
take
seen
it.
something the other day.
That's just
But
crazy
hold
what
on,
market
I
like.
think it was the way what you talking about, Jacob. I think it was that way because let's be honest, we have lacked a big man that can score at least 15 points.
Well, it's because you got 70-year-old Al Horford.
Exactly, but listen, but
I don't
70-year-old Al
understand that one.
Horford brings the threat now of hitting that little pop shot.
But the smartest
You know
thing,
what I'm saying?
the smartest thing that the Celtics got was when y'all brought back Tice.
Yeah,
When you all
That was
brought
a
back
good pick.
Daniel Tice,
and
things
and
changed.
then not
big
only
in a
that,
big
then
way.
to peep this too.
And that
Like I
head
told
coach
people
is
this too.
cold-blooded.
I think people don't realize how good Jalen Brown really is.
He's an underrated player. He don't get enough
Listen,
recognition.
If you follow me from when people be like, man, when I say him like Jalen Brown's really a top 5 shooting guard.
Bro,
They
That's
like,
that's what
you
happens when you
talking
get
about?
that. But like Jason Tatum is the number 1 on that team. Like
Yeah.
he is.
I almost
That's what
got-
happens.
but
So.
people
I almost
don't
got in
even-
a fight with people because I said Jalen Brown deserved that contract.
He do.
And they was like, no, he don't.
Yes, he do.
He ain't
Did
do
he
nothing
get
to
signed
deserve
already?
it. Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. It was a big, like, everybody
Yeah.
was mad because they felt
And
like
I-
he didn't put in enough work to get the contract he had. I said, yes, he did.
Shit, I'm about to say his
said, yes, he
defensive
did.
game, he
Right,
guards
his
the
defense
best
is
But
like
you
player.
that.
remember, but you remember people had issues with his contract because they felt like he wasn't proving. Yeah, I said, bro, Jalen Brown. If you ask
three
me,
balls there?
and I changed my mind now. But at one point in time,
he
I
got in
thought
his bag the other night.
I thought
Bunnies?
Jalen Brown was better than Jason Tatum because I thought Jalen Brown had more of a dog than Jason Tatum.
Yeah, he's
That,
definitely
like,
way more aggressive.
Now Tatum, his dog didn't win. I don't know what.
Yeah, because
I don't know
I-
what happened. Tatum dog is crazy.
I think
they
what
fall
happened.
off each other though.
That's a
did.
duo they need to keep together right there.
Forever.
That's a
But
duo.
see, this is what I
Forever.
think. This is what I
If
think
one
that
league, they
happened.
need to go to the same team. they need to stay together forever. That's probably
Hold
the
on,
best
Jamal,
duo
go ahead,
drafted
Jamal.
together.
Go ahead,
That's what I'm
Jamal.
saying.
Let Jamal say it.
Also, with Jason Tatum, what happened is that he wasn't being an efficient shooter.
No. He was trying to be Kobe.
Yes, he was trying to be Kobe. He was trying to have
Back
the same
down.
skill set as Kobe. But with Jalen Brown, with him having the dog, he was more noticeable on defense as well as making shots.
God.
Right,
and
yeah.
the majority of his play style was inside of the paint.
Yep.
You can even sit here and say because I watched the game watching Jason Tatum yesterday. People don't talk about it. He put up almost, I think it was like 14 3-pointers.
Yeah. But he's a
I
shooter.
think he's
Well,
scored
you
39
can tell-
now. He's
But
scored
you
like
can be
39.
a shooter. You can be a shooter, but when your primary game is not the 3-ball, when you can sit here and get to the basket at will and stuff due to your dribble package
He's
and
good
your
back to
layup
the
package.
basket.
Yeah, right. That's cool. But I'm saying, like, we all know it's more successful inside of the paint than behind the arc. We know that.
But that's not today's game, though.
Tatum-
The three
Tatum-
ball is
But he
so
got shooters all
valued.
around the court.
I know, but listen.
Pritchard.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
come on.
Tay-
Yeah,
Tay-
listen. But listen.
That's
Go ahead,
a
Jacob.
real
Go ahead.
good
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say
Pritchard.
Tatum is a mix between, you can argue and say, Kobe and Durant. Like, as far
Yeah.
as like
I'll give you
Durant's long, you know what I'm saying? The way he plays his game is long. But he also, the way Kobe is, Kobe try to dice, you know what I'm saying, back you down, try to bully you, turn around.
I seen
you know
that.
what I'm saying?
But
I would say he's like a Tracy McGrady.
Hold on. Yeah.
He even
Now
tried
look,
to
now
compete.
look,
He even tried to
he's a
be
Tracy
like
McGrady.
Kobe.
Go ahead,
Jason
but
Tatum
look,
even
check
said
this
it.
though. Check this though. People don't know. Like I've been watching. You know, I follow my team. Like I
hard to
watched
follow
the
my
clip. I watched a clip of Joel Embiid and Tatum working out in the summer. He was busting Joel Embiid's ass.
But would you
And-
expect that?
Huh? Would I? One-on-one? Nah.
If I was Joel, I'm taking him to the paint every time.
Exactly. But he was backing Joel. Like, he was post-gaming him. Like, I don't...
okay.
Yeah, he wasn't just shooting and running around Joel. Like, he was banging with him on the inside fadeaway. He was giving his inside post game is real nice. If Jason Tatum catch you on the block with his back to the basket, he gonna get you.
That's he did that all the time. I watched him at Duke, so it was like
crazy
all the time, back to the basket.
Yeah, I didn't. Listen, when we drafted Jaylen Brown, I'm like, who is this?
Who the hell
I
is
ain't
this
gonna
dude?
beat you.
He was West V? Was he from West Virginia?
Was it Cal?
Or was it Cal? No, it was Cal. I think it was Cal.
Cal. Look,
I didn't know.
I've never heard of dude.
I didn't pay attention to dude.
But I'm saying the way that they're playing, the chemistry that they got going on right now as a team, I love it. I love team basketball more than individual basketball.
I don't think Brad Stevens could have done that for you.
He couldn't. That's why he moved. He knew. You gotta know what you can get out of players. You gotta know.
See, he also Brad Stevens had to go through LeBron every year though, so it's like.
Yeah,
but also, if you looked at their series, they did have to go through LeBron
mismatches.
But if you sat here and saw who they faced previously, he basically had like the luck of the players. He wasn't sitting here really doing game plans and stuff like that. It happened.
Brad Stevens.
Talking about Brad Stevens.
He wasn't vocal. He wasn't vocal enough.
And his position being in front office is a perfect position for him.
Yeah,
I will say this. Brad Stevens and I'm not even trying to make it a race thing, but I'm always for the black coaches. So I'm glad that they, it's the reverse of what happened with the Warriors. The Warriors had, the black coach got rid of them. White coach come do their thing. Celtics did the opposite. So but I will say Brad Stevens did not get a fair shake in this standpoint. I feel like the Celtics management kept doing too much with that roster.
Yeah,
there was no reason for you to bring Hayward in.
Hey, look,
there was no reason for you to bring Kyrie or even.
That's a big reason. I feel like Jason Tatum didn't come out so well.
I say when Terry Rose in. That's when they had to when Kyrie was injured. It was Terry.
Y'all know the problem was. Y'all know who it was. Danny. Traditional,
he
old school.
Yeah,
y'all
it's
found
my
something,
way or the highway type guy.
Y'all made something work through the draft, and then y'all try to make it work through the draft, and then try to build it. You know what I'm saying?
But that wasn't him though. That was Danny. Danny was doing too much.
That's why I said Brad didn't get a free
him to step down
because his team kept getting moved around.
So you're right. So for Danny for real to step down. And for Brad to get the pieces, I think Brad is good. He's a chess player. I think he can. Now that he's in the driver's seat,
those young players pretty well.
Yeah, I'm about to say now that he's in the driver's seat and I think he has
in the
more
front
control.
Office now, ain't he?
Huh?
Is he in the front office now?
Yeah, he's the GM.
Brad, that's what I thought.
That's what I said. He didn't really get
he
fired, but I think he's good on getting the pieces.
What
he got fired.
The upper room.
He got fired, and he still had a good relationship, so they bumped his ass up.
No, but Danny had to go, man. Keep it real. Think about how they were treating all our good players, bro. How do you treat Isaiah Thomas like that, who had an MVP season?
Right. They did him dirty. They did him dirty.
I do understand why. When I look back at Isaiah Thomas, I'm not big into analytics. I actually hate analytics. But I have to respect one thing analytics will show you is usage rate. And one thing about Isaiah Thomas, as much as I love Isaiah Thomas, he took a lot to get points. Because he was a small player, so he had to, dribble to get.
Kind of like Russ.
And he averaged almost 30.
But what I'm saying, somebody like Isaiah Thomas,
he
had that killer. He had that killer. He had that killer.
That ball's not gonna move the same with Isaiah Thomas. So when you're depending on your young players, I think what they was thinking is Kyrie was going to be to what LeBron was to Kyrie. He was gonna have that older, because we knew Kyrie was the dog. We knew he was a dog, but he needed some grooming. Boom, LeBron.
IT had better success.
He
did. He had way better success. But I don't think that success would. I don't think it would have continued.
IT was a smaller version of James Harden.
He just had that. Literally. He had a dog. IT had the dog in him.
He was a smaller.
He was efficient.
If you look at James Harden's game, he dribbles. He may do a little bit back down, in and out, whatever. But when he released that ball, it's like 6 seconds on the shot clock. Yeah. IT was like 6 seconds on the shot clock unless he was able to get to the paint. Now remember, if we look at some of them IT replays, you would think his back was about to get broken by trying to sit here and get and pound with them centers.
And if you're a GM, Ash, to be honest with you, I love IT. I was salty that they traded him, but if you're a GM, ask yourself,
I'm taking IT.
Is IT gonna lead me to the promised land? For in the long run,
you need a big man though. Honestly, and our problem is, and I know I'm a fan. We never had a good big man, an all-star level. Al Horford is a fan favorite. Let's be real. He's a 10
Hold on real
and 10 guy.
quick.
He just an old head.
He's a
20 different
10 and
times.
10
He's just an
guy.
old head. That's
I'm about to get his ass.
But
Because we had this conversation. Hold on, because you know where I'm about to go.
what?
You just said we haven't had an all-star big man.
A
Was
big,
it?
But about
a big dude.
But about 2 weeks ago, we was talking about what was that 07 or 2010 whatever finals Lakers versus the
Perkins wasn't an all-star. We had Kevin Durant. We had KG though.
But
It's-
he was an all-star.
But how he
Kevin-
was trying
Kevin-
to
He's a big man.
but how he was trying to make it was as Kendrick Perkins
Was
was
a
this
factor.
all-star big factor.
Let's talk to him. He knows
Center.
sports. Do you think in that series when
Do you remember that series?
when Kendrick
Yeah.
Perkins went down, did it not change the series? And this is his and I'm not talking about his scoring. I'm talking about his presence, as in the paint, big body, getting boards. And they wasn't walking
Hold
down
on,
the
let
lane.
him
I
answer.
know I had to put my last little sauce on there, and they wasn't walking down the lane with
Last little
Kendrick.
sauce on it.
Cause you know Kendrick could throw an elbow or something.
Yeah, yes and no, because like Kobe still gave him business. So like at the
Yeah,
end
but
of the
Kobe
day,
got what when Kendrick went down. Where did Kobe get to attack more?
yeah, in the paint.
I get that,
You said
but-
Glenn Davis, all right.
Yep.
You know Glenn is not Perkins on the
But see,
defensive
what-
side, and especially on the rebounding
But
tip.
wait a minute.
Okay, but you
Look
still
at-
had KG.
But think about
What's
this.
KG?
Nobody
Season
said,
KG.
hey, draft. Nobody, keep it real. Back
I'm
then,
keeping it real.
Didn't nobody.
Y'all wasn't winning this series.
Let me-
I said
no,
what
no.
I said.
Answer this
No
question.
Kendrick Perkins go down, we win.
You watched the series, Jacob. You probably remember the series as well.
With the Lakers,
Lakers
and the
versus the
Celtics.
first time versus the Celtics.
We won.
Not one team game plan for Kendrick Perkins.
Hell no.
didn't.
Not one
They
team
didn't, but y'all
game
got
plan for
bullied.
Kendrick Perkins.
I will say
Pau
that
Gasol-
Kendrick Perkins did not bully anybody. All he did was defend the
I
paint.
will say the Celtics.
He didn't bully
the,
Pau
the
Gasol.
Celtics.
Not the whole
You're
series. Of course,
crazy.
of
Look
course
at
you're
Pau
gonna have
Gasol's
an up
numbers,
and down.
buddy. Look at Pau Gasol's numbers.
I'm pretty sure. No, I
He
will say
was
this.
bullying
I'm
him.
pret's pretty sure he was probably pushing Paul Gasol
Yeah, but
around.
not.
That's
He's a
why they
he's
called
a
him
big
soft.
body
But
compared to
that's
him.
also
That's why they called him
But that's
soft.
also why Kendrick was probably on that team is because
Intimidator.
you can sacrifice Kendrick.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
What else was
Like
he
he's gonna
to
make
do?
it. He's gonna make it like he's aggressive.
Yes,
and
that's
I'm not
it.
gonna lie. You have
That's
like
the difference, though, Jamal.
Especially-
If I can't walk down the lane,
Let me say this.
Yeah.
When you have
Yeah.
when you have stretch big men, you have to have somebody on the team to rough them up because they didn't spend their whole life shooting outside shots.
And what happened to Powell?
They're a little soft.
what happened to
They're a
Powell?
little soft. So somebody like Kendrick throwing Powell like damn nigga, I don't
Powell
even do
look
this.
like
I don't
Sherman
even do this.
tissue.
Man. What
I'm
are
a
you
stretch,
doing?
like-
Come, I shoot.
Listen.
Bro, why you keep throwing elbows
Right.
in my
Listen,
back?
this is
dog?
how you know
You
it's
gotta
bad.
have a Kendrick against a
Even Kobe
He
was
was
in Pau
he was a
Gasol's
perfect
ass
accent for
being
that
so
team for
goddamn
sure.
soft.
For sure.
You gotta that's how I'm not gonna lie.
Hey.
That is how you defeat these new shooting big men. You gotta
Get up on
have
him.
you gotta have somebody that he ain't gotta be a starter. He ain't gotta be a starter. You gotta have somebody that's going right in the back of the head like, damn, I was trying to shoot.
Hey,
Bro,
hey,
why are you waiting?
hey, one player I do like on the Celtics that I watch. What's his last name? Is Williams.
Oh, Robert Williams.
Yeah.
Robert-
I love him because he's
Robert-
athletic.
But
and
see,
he's
also,
running.
but let me put it like this: Robert is the best big man that you all have ever. put
Had
on
a
that-
minute. In a minute.
No,
Ever?
no.
Ever?
Outside of who? Bill Russell. Terrence Shannon?
Man,
I'm about to say,
don't disrespect Kevin now. Kevin did his thing when
Yes,
he was
he
there.
did and stuff,
He
but
was
he was-
good 17,
Bro.
18, 10
Kevin
rebounds.
the one
sticking
thing
the
that-
best player, sticking the best player. And this
Williams
is
is guarding
I know,
is
hold
guarding
on.
3 through 5.
I get
KG
'cause
wasn't
he's an
doing that,
athlete,
bro.
But because the game
I
is
think
different.
KG could have done
than-
it.
No, he
A
no
young-
in
a
Minnesota.
young KG,
In
a young
Minnesota,
a young
maybe
KG,
yeah.
a young KG.
Now, I will say that Celtics team that won the championship, we always talk about the big three. That probably might have been one of like they had an overall team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People
Listen,
people
and
forget
that's
you had
why I
Eddie
said-
House.
You
But
had
listen,
Tony
that's-
Allen.
Tony
you had
Allen,
Eddie
great
House.
defender.
This is why I
Holland?
said. This is why I
Rasheed
said good
Wallace?
teams
Yeah.
versus teams with like.
Did they have Rasheed Wallace?
Yeah, listen, but we had that wasn't Pistons. Rasheed
Oh,
Wallace.
my.
Calm down.
It's
calm
still,
down.
it's still a good role. You need role players though. You need role players like that though. You need role players.
Wait a
That's why.
minute, Jamal,
Let me
just
talk
thought about
about
it.
Let me go into it. This
My
is why I
bad.
love team basketball. Because everybody has a job, like you said,
That
Jacob.
Celtics team, everybody played
you
their role. I loved it.
Kendrick, he may not score, but he gonna get you 10 rebounds and a couple elbows on them players that ain't gonna walk down the paint. that's
plays
used
a
to
difference.
walking. Just like the Spurs team, and this is why I like team basketball. Everybody has a job on the Spurs team. Nobody is one man is not bigger than nobody on that whole team. Even Tim Duncan quiet, but he a quiet 2020. He a quiet 2020. And then you have Bruce Bowen, defensive player, not a big factor scoring, but he can hit a random three. And he gonna score. He gonna lock down and rough up whoever the best player on the opposite team is. You can't tell me Bruce Bowen wasn't a factor on any Spurs team, bro.
He was.
Okay,
Danny Green was more of a factor.
But listen, he did it on the defensive side, right? How many points did he
Danny
score?
Green was like that in the finals.
Yeah.
Because he brought that shooting presence.
You
had to respect it.
You know, one thing I'll say, I think that's probably why the Celtics, when people talk about LeBron formed super teams, you know why? I think that's why people don't bring up the Celtics, because the Celtics, everybody was a different role.
A role.
I think a lot of people seen, like, when LeBron teamed up with D Wade, is the same two players getting together.
And they were having fun. They were having fun with one another.
They were having fun.
And
everybody else had to play catch up.
But they were
I
both
respect
elite.
the move.
By the time Ray Allen got to the Celtics, he was still a star, but he was a spot up shooter.
No, no, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. No.
Jamal, he
he wasn't.
like 15
bro.
points.
Wait, hold on.
He averaged like 15 points.
Bro,
Hey,
Milwaukee Bucks, Ray Allen was out here dunking on everybody. He wasn't just
saying that when he got to the Celtics. When he got to the Celtics.
We're talking about
I got a little pieced up about that.
Hey, what they say on Dave Chappelle? Next motherfucker that interrupt me getting shot. Stop playing with me, man.
He said Celtics.
So that's what I think. Because if you look at that team, you had Ray Allen. You had Ray Allen, spot up shooter. You had Rondo, which was a facilitator.
Yeah.
You had Paul Pierce, which was the person that closed the games out. You know, like so
he was the main scorer.
Everybody had different roles, and I think that's why people mess. I'm not saying they weren't a super team. By no means I'm not saying it, because I think they were.
I think they were.
I think the reason why people didn't call them a super team is because it was so well rounded.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Miami Heat, you had two ball dominant players that was arguably top 5 players in the league.
Yeah, and they
you know what I'm saying, teaming up together, and then Bosh kind of gets thrown in there. You can argue that he's a top 5 power forward.
Yeah, I don't knock LeBron's move though, because he gave his time.
No. But see, side note, we hopping off. I think every team needs to do what LeBron did. Every player, before you ask to get out of your deal, you have to at least make a run.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, what Zion Williams trying to, sitting out, not putting in the work because he want to get out of the Pelicans. You ain't put in no work. To me, when you get drafted to a team, I get it. You might not want to be there.
Dame Lillard.
But you got
he was an all-star starter his second year now.
You got to at least give us, you know what I'm saying? Because you got LeBron took his team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Before he got out of, the Cavs. You got AD. AD at least took his team to, to the playoffs.
That was a different time, though.
KD took his team to the playoffs.
Zion already knows what's up. He knows he ain't doing nothing anymore.
And my thing is,
I feel like you at least because even like Ja gonna probably leave Memphis eventually, but what he doing? Taking his team there.
I think they got a well-rounded team.
Yeah, that's another team that's got a good.
I feel like you got to put in work before you try to
just before you say you go.
Before you I'm gone.
Hey, Zion averaged 27 on like 60% shooting in his
you ain't
career.
put in no work. Come on, man. You and I both know he ain't put in no work.
He was an all-star starter this
So do you
year.
think he's sitting here faking his injury?
He wants out of New Orleans. I'll say that.
He's making it clear. You come in.
They said that the team is holding him out though.
He's ready to play. He's ready to play.
I'm not talking about this shit. But you're coming. You're damn near almost 400 pounds.
We got his weight together.
Don't believe everything you read.
His way to get, and you gotta look at his body mass. He doesn't have a lot of body fat.
You seen him doing 360 windmills pregame?
But listen,
what 400-pounder doing that?
This is the thing with Zion and the way new basketball is, the sports science in this. His weight and explosion over time, he's not going to last long.
I never thought Zion was going to be that good. I remember people told me I was a hater because I said I think Zion's a little overrated.
I don't think he is.
That's hater.
I think he's like that, but
he's
like that.
The man is like 6'5". The man is 6'5", and he's using. He's like what 6'5", maybe 6'8" at the tallest.
Like 6'9". He's 6'9".
And your game is trying to for me, his game was trying to bully in the paint.
That's his game.
He does bully in the paint though.
I felt like big tall players eventually gonna figure him out.
No,
that's why I say I felt like he was overrated.
Let's move on because we got to stay on time.
Yeah.
What's the series that You've been
The series
watching?
that I've been watching, I'll probably say right now the series that I've been really, really paying attention to is going to be obviously the Celtics Nets, but not to really touch on that because he touched on it. I'm going to say the Warriors. The Warriors and the Nuggets. And I'll say the biggest part with that is it's one, Draymond is showing why he's a top player. A top defensive player.
Agreed.
Let me say that.
I agree
and
with
this
you.
is why I say that. And I've been telling people this for years. A star is always going to get their points. It's how you make them get it. And so I remember once, this years ago, I remember the Spurs and the Heat, and LeBron was dropping 30, and Kawhi got credit for, you know what I'm saying, his defensive play on LeBron. And people was like, well,
Anybody does.
how can he get credit if LeBron got 30? I said, it's not about LeBron getting 30. It's about how did Kawhi make him get that 30.
It was a hard 30.
It's a hard
Yeah.
30.
It's a hard 30.
It throws off the
Sometimes-
flow.
Just like Andre Iguodala.
And so the same. You're right.
Same thing.
Sometimes
It's-
this is better offense. It's great defense, better
good.
offense.
And
Right.
that-
But your game plan now changed because now LeBron trying so hard to back you down to
Right.
get a point. He got it, but now the team is not getting involved.
That
and
40
so
minutes
that's
is
what I
tougher.
noticed what Draymond has done with Jokic is the way he's doing it.
making him
I
work.
think Jokic is starting to get salty. Like Jokic not
making
even
him
passing the
work.
ball like he used
Hey,
to.
you right, listen.
He in the paint trying,
Jacob,
and Draymond like
Jacob, you get what I'm saying? But listen, on the stat sheet, Draymond looks like a basic player.
he do.
That's why you can't
And
stat
this
sheet-
is why I
stat sheet
tell.
watch.
This is where I go to
And
Jamal.
and Jokic has dropped 30.
tell
And you
him
be like,
about
Jokic
Kendrick.
dominated. And you be like, Jokic has
The
dropped 30. You be like,
presence.
he dominated Draymond. But if you watch the game, he ain't
ain't
he
dominating
ain't look
him.
like that.
I seen Jokic earlier with his head down, gas on
Bro,
his.
remember when he
But
stripped
looked
him the
sad. He
last
looked
game?
sad out there.
He was
Jokic-
like this.
But see, this is what I always say.
No.
When it comes to defensive players, right? Defensive players are not appreciated unless
Tony
you watch
Allen.
that game.
I know.
That's pretty much
Jamal
it.
Not
Because
appreciating Kendrick.
Kendrick Perkins is not Draymond Green because Draymond Green is just
He
not
was a
no
bully.
bruiser. No,
Draymond Green is a bruiser on the
I
lowest
get that,
keys. He's
but
just
he
a new
also
age.
facilitates the offense. He facilitates the
he
offense,
He can
bro.
shoot the ball.
He is the general of the
He
offense,
does
bro.
what he does what Boris Diaw
But
used to
he's
do.
the
but
Jordan-
still-
he's the general, bro.
But he's still
He is.
only like 4 assists, 2 steals, and
Drive,
6
drive.
points. It
But
doesn't.
he is
Seems like the Warriors
get
and the
it.
Spurs
If you
are
watch-
never gonna have
No,
high
I get what
assist
you're
numbers.
saying.
He's
Jamal.
the-
His presence is a
No,
is,
no,
is,
no, no, no.
is
It's not the
definitely-
presence. He brings up the ball.
I need my alcohol.
He facilitates to the players, gets the players
Jamal,
off the ball.
he brings the ball up. If we're going to do a realistic
Do you-
bringing up the ball, he really bringing up the ball that much, bro.
Yes, he does.
No, not a lot.
Yes, he does,
Not
bro.
a lot, bro. Have you
Because-
watched him? Have you
Yes,
watched? You watched
yes.
the series?
Have you watched
Jordan
it?
Poole
What is
is the guy right now.
He is the guy.
Jordan
But
Poole
that's
is like
Jordan.
that.
Jordan Poole is doing what? He's playing
is the
defense and he's
surprise-
scoring.
No, but
Draymond
listen.
Green is not asked to do that.
Exactly,
I hope Jordan
Jamal.
Poole does
So
not
what,
chase
when
that
you
bag.
say
I mean, I think
when
Grass
you
ain't
say
always green,
he's
man.
not
It's
asked
not.
to do that, that falls back on everything I say about other players that you just be like, nah. They're not asked to do that. Kendrick Perkins was not asked to score. He's asked to get rebounds and beat motherfuckers up.
Getting warm outside. When,
You feel
know
me?
what I'm saying?
But
When you just
Jordan
start sweating
Poole,
for no reason.
Jordan Poole is the surprise factor of
yes, of
this
course,
the
it's
whole
a surprise
season.
factor. But without
Oh,
Draymond Green with that team, they're not sitting here doing that against the Nuggets.
I think somebody like
They're not
Draymond
doing
Green
that.
will keep Jordan Poole motivated.
But he's still.
I
but,
think Draymond does well with younger players.
but this goes
Same thing
back.
with James
This goes
Wiseman.
back to
Yeah.
what I
He
say
did that with James
on.
Wiseman, yeah.
It doesn't have to always show up on the stat sheet. Their
Absolutely.
effect on the game.
But that's
Jamal,
why you
and
have to
just,
watch the game.
Hold on. Hey, side note, this is gonna sound like some hate. Jordan Poole wouldn't be able to do what he's doing now with the Lakers.
Absolutely, because of LeBron.
Definitely.
Because they wouldn't give him a chance to
Because
develop.
of LeBron.
They wouldn't give him a
Yes.
chance
Hello?
to. Because LeBron's kind of like, I need you
Yes,
to.
sir.
Yeah.
LeBron's kind of, I need you now, championship now. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan Poole, the Warriors, they have done a great job. That's why I say Jordan Poole shouldn't like take a max contract from another team. And the reason why I say that is because you're gonna go to another team now. Your expectations are gonna go here.
That
and
come
they go,
with the bag, though.
They come with the bag, but they gonna start expecting you to drop 30. Now people gonna call you a bust because you know what I'm saying. Whereas if you stay with the Warriors and take a little bit less money, I'm not saying take a lot less, take a little bit less money. Now you can continue to kind of fit in and blend in.
Yeah, but how do you want to be remembered as a player? That's all. Hold on.
He fits well with the Warriors.
Shit, Jonathan Simmons. I'm a Spurs fan. I remember Jonathan Simmons got a bag from Orlando and he left. I ain't heard from Jonathan Simmons since. And he was up and coming. But like I said, with the Spurs, he wasn't asked to do as much, so you can shine a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the problem sometimes. When you take that bag, you gotta be careful, because that bag come with expectations.
And that's his shit.
That
What you
bag-
think we about to pay you for 10 points?
That's any sport though. That's any
Yeah.
sport.
I know, but I'm saying like sometimes okay, let me ask you this: would you rather have this might be a bad. You stay with the Warriors and you have a, you know what I'm saying, you was a great role player. Or you go chase that bag and you was a bust. Like which one you want?
I mean, as long as I'm winning, I'm cool with winning. I think winning means more than anything else, honestly.
See, the Warriors is gonna give you that win.
Right.
The team that's gonna offer Jordan Poole a bag is gonna probably be one of the worst teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like the Hornets is on the way up, but they got terrible management.
They gotta go
Let's
through
be
Trae
honest.
Young.
They got terrible management, and so somebody like the Hornets is gonna offer Jordan Poole like 5 years, 120 million.
Yeah, big
Next
contract.
thing you know, Jordan Poole is not gonna fit in that system. It's not gonna work out. Now we like, damn, what happened to Jordan Poole?
Same thing kind of happened with Gordon Hayward. Going to Boston.
That bag sometimes, man.
Money talks.
I tell players take their bag. The only reason I would tell you not to take your bag is if you know endorsements can make up for what you're not gonna get. But other than that, take your bag. But when you take your bag, just know they're gonna expect you to be the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Once they pay you. Because you also got to think about the market continues to fluctuate. So people get mad at you for getting a bag, but the only reason you got that bag is because you just happened to sign your deal when the market increased. With Michael Conley. Michael Conley signed his deal right when they had, I think they had signed that new NBA deal. And everybody was like, damn, Michael Conley didn't deserve that deal. Well, anybody probably would have got that deal if their contract was up at the same time. You know what I'm saying? He just happened to be, what they say, he increased the market. Mm-hmm. He changed the market.
But I think that like, because when we talk about deals and stuff, it's not like NFL. So NFL's contracts are based by position. When it comes to NBA, it's based off of what you do on that team.
For sure.
So if you're a franchise player, you're within this market cap, right?
Right.
If you're a role player, you're within that type of market cap.
Right.
Now, if Jordan Poole, let's say it like this, because these are two things that can happen. He sit here and weigh his options from other teams because he's going to get a fixed number. He may get incentives based off of what he does in next year's season. But another team that needs a point guard / shooting guard, they're going to probably offer him more.
Way more.
Then it sits here and comes down to, do I want to win or do I want to sit here and actually get paid? Because a lot of these players, when they get these $100 million contracts and they've never seen $100 million come across the table and stuff, they sit here and be like, damn, I could be like Steph Curry.
Well, let me ask.
Be like,
do you want to get paid or you want to win?
Like for me, this
individuals here right here.
If you're asking me,
you taking the bag or you taking the wins?
I'm taking the
Melo took the bag.
I'm the same way.
For
Melo
me,
took the bag.
But you also got
and look how that ended up for him.
Now he's chasing the ring.
You gotta also sit here and see
on a team that ain't make the playoffs.
Now he's chasing the ring.
You gotta sit here and see like what that lifestyle is gonna be for a person. If you talk about myself, I'll probably say for me, can I get it? Are we saying 4 or 5 years?
So I'm gonna just throw out random numbers. They offer you 4 years, $100 million for your own team.
My own team.
But it's the Orlando Magic.
What is my
guarantee?
Give me my guarantee.
We just gonna. It's all
$100 million guarantee.
We just gonna say it's all guaranteed. Let's just keep it on the same page.
Then give me another.
Or you can play with the Warriors, but we can only offer you 4 years, $60 million.
And Golden
I'm going to Golden State.
Hold on. The question is for me. Wait a minute.
The Magic
No,
sucks.
just for everybody, but I'm curious.
The Magic
I would probably take the Warriors. I'll probably take because of my ring, right?
I don't know what you
Exactly.
smell.
Look,
You make money on that
I'm
ring.
trying to sit here and
Remember
think in
those
my
who
head.
don't win.
Remember
those who
But
don't
your
win.
kids gonna remember that you like, hey Dad, you left $40 million on it. Hey Dad,
Yeah, but I'm like,
I
I feel like that's the Cowboys. I feel like that's
yeah, they
the
gonna
Cowboys.
try to sell it when that money. Like, if we
you
had
go to-
$40 million more, Daddy, we wouldn't be struggling right now.
But if you
we
go,
coulda
if
got
you go
that
to the
mansion,
Warriors,
Daddy.
if you go to the Warriors versus Orlando, just those two teams, I'm gonna say here and have more endorsements, so I can say here and have a makeup thing.
You're right.
I'm a
That
40 person,
could
so-
happen like that. But also, you have to be a personality for that to work too.
Absolutely.
Because they don't just. I mean,
They're not giving money away like that. I mean, they is, but they ain't.
when you win a ring, you do automatically you know what I'm saying, gain some endorsements. But I don't know, like you gotta like Jordan Poole's gonna gain endorsements. Of course, that's because pretty light skinned dude.
State Farm.
It's gonna work.
It's gonna be on State Farm.
You think?
But okay, let's say you a not so friendly player, you're not a media friendly player. You might have to take that $100 million because you're not gonna get that with your personality because you're not gonna be able to gain those same endorsements.
You think KD has a personality?
Hell no.
Hell no.
I think KD would have to chase
He's
the
a
money
chick.
before
He
LeBron.
got burner accounts.
But he does have endorsements. But they don't ask him to sit here and use that that sell personality.
Yeah, no.
He can sit here and come and
LeBron
be
can
himself.
take less money before KD can because LeBron gonna make that up easy.
Right.
KD, I don't think people love KD enough for him to make up.
LeBron's
that
a
much
millionaire
money.
outside of basketball.
Right, he could retire right now, and his
And
kids
he'll still
are
be
set.
making money till he dies.
So
Yeah.
Drev, if I'm correct, you gonna take the $60 million over the $100 million.
First, a lot factors into it, but like I said, nobody remembers the people that don't win.
And the Magic don't win.
They don't
So
win.
you taking the $60 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We act like $40 million is $40, but that's $40 million.
And okay, and
60 million. I mean, that's still a lot of money too.
It is, but man, 100.
Nah.
You want a ring? You get a bonus.
Let me tell y'all about.
Hold up,
And you're going to be
Hear me out, too.
remembered.
Florida ain't got taxes.
But you got to
Ain't got
remember,
state
you're going to be
taxes.
remembered. You're
California do
always
got
going to
them
be in the
taxes, right?
Hall of Fame.
Florida ain't got state taxes, so that $100 million is $100
But listen,
million.
you got to
Yeah.
think, organization-wise, when they bring up the Warriors and look at those great teams, your name is going to be up there.
And they go like, look at little old Jacob in Orlando scoring.
Markel. Nobody talking about Markel.
But listen,
Fultz.
look at
one
exactly.
talking
But
about
look at the market in Orlando. They're not a marketable team. They're
That's another
man,
place.
I don't know. I just feel like y'all answered the question
just like
too quick.
Atlanta.
That's another
take
place
time
where
to
you would think
Yeah,
free
you would
agents and
think
people
it
want to
was
sign
smack
there.
down there.
Orlando,
just the
yeah, I
environment.
definitely think Orlando be a city people
No,
want.
I can't name. I could barely name you somebody off that
But
roster.
you know why? You got
I can name a
Miami.
couple,
You
but,
got
like,
Miami, and
you
Miami's
gotta
a little
think.
Miami, like Orlando. Like from what I know about Orlando is more like family friendly. Miami is like that good time. So if you're a
Yeah.
player, I want Miami before.
But-
now if I'm 40,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, trying to get my last year in the league.
Get my last little couple
I
chips.
go to Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Give me Orlando.
No, this is with players with that on the brink of the end of their career, but they still a big name and they still got good. Like Melo with
I
New
was about to
York.
say Melo.
Melo in New York. Melo was on his kind of up decline. Like he's still a big name. So when New York gave him that money, they like, we got a mark here. We about to get us a chip. Oh, you got
All right,
damaged
so-
goods.
So to end today's episode, who do you all have winning the NBA championship?
Hey Jamal, I got a
The
good question.
Suns.
I got a good Jamal.
Hold on. Let me ask this and then
Jamal,
I guess
Can we get into one more? Can we
Jamal.
get into, I want to say one more thing about one series, actually.
Which one?
Is the Minnesota and the Grizzlies.
That's a good one.
A lot of people were hating on Minnesota for how they acted after winning that play-in game, but I'll tell you, they're fighting and they're making that a series. Like,
You
Beverly
can tell those players is young by the way the series keeps going up and
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Each team, especially the Minnesota, they don't seem like they have nobody on their team that can stop the bleeding.
Well,
When the
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies started coming back from being down 21,
that's where
there
somebody
was
got to be like,
nobody
give me the
that
ball.
was like, but that's
It
when
gotta-
Cat.
it gotta be Cat.
But no,
Cat
it goes
was
back to
not
that conversation we had
closing.
earlier.
He dropped
That's
30
when
and
Cat
13
stopped-
last night.
That's when Cat
No,
stopped
yeah,
shooting
when they
threes
won.
and starts getting easy points in the paint.
Yeah.
That's like you're a big man. I get it. You like to shoot threes,
He
but
a
when your
good
team
shooter,
when your
though.
team
Yeah.
is not when it's not working, you go get those easy baskets
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
paint.
I
That's
agree
when you
with
get
you.
your ass down in the paint. All right, bro, we got to at least get 10.
So I got one question too. I just got so like, who are y'all faces of the new NBA? Because all the ones we grew up with is now on their way out. Bron, all
Luka's
them.
up there for sure. Luka.
I don't think-
Okay,
there's
now
really been a player
question
yet.
with this. Question with this. On a realistic scale, give me your top 5 international players. I don't care how short their career was. We saying legit. If you had to rate them,
Tony
I think
Parker, Manu Ginobili.
yeah. But listen, I'm gonna tell you this.
Almost
I
Spurs
think
fan, Patty
personally,
Mills.
I think Giannis, the
Yep.
Joker, and Luka are beyond dirt. And I say that because Luka came in scoring 28 points a
He did.
game. Dirk ain't see 20-something until like year 4.
But he won rings.
He won one.
Draft.
Luka ain't even made it to one though.
I'm talking about far as talent wise.
I will say this, draft. The difference between
Giannis?
Dirk, the difference between Dirk and Luka. When Dirk came in, foreign players wasn't a thing. Dirk had to prove himself against players that probably did not respect him. So there was some bullying that kind of happened. Whereas I feel like nowadays
he was getting bullied.
I'm about to say nowadays players don't have that. Oh, we trying to prove that America's better than the European basketball.
I'll give you that,
so Luka can get away with coming down embarrassing you, and nobody's gonna take it personal. Back in the day, you remember Scottie and Jordan when they played in the Olympics? Mm-hmm. Hey, now we got him because they say he a top. They say he was a top 5 draft.
They did him dirty.
They said he was a top 5 draft pick. We about to embarrass him.
Yep.
Players today don't want to do that. So you got a player like Luka. That the only player that wants to embarrass Luka is Patrick Beverley. That's the only person I've ever seen that try to throw an
scorch step every time.
Luka was doing the Clippers.
What about Giannis too?
Giannis too.
What career? At what season has Dirk had anywhere near compared one of Giannis' seasons, like at Giannis in his prime?
I'm not gonna lie, Dirk's playoff run when he knocked off the
Heat.
I'm not gonna lie, that was probably one of the most unstoppable players I've ever seen.
Listen, but I
that
think
playoff run
knew,
was crazy.
But like certain players know, like this is it. If I don't win this time.
Where's Steve Nash rank on that list?
I mean, he's from Canada. That's North
America. Don't get me started on Steve Nash because he shouldn't have never been a back-to-back MVP. And I'm gonna tell you why. Ain't no way you have it. Ain't no way you're gonna have 10 points. And this is where I say people got on me because they were like, "Oh, you just a LeBron fan." No, let me break this down. He wasn't even the best player on his team. Number one.
It was Stoudemire.
Yeah, Stoudemire, Raja. Listen,
yeah.
Barbosa had more points than Steve Nash, averaging. He had 18 off the bench.
Yeah, 6 man.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're like, oh, he had 18 assists. Do you not know who he had around him? He had a